Look at these freaking gnats. This is just the worst. They're everywhere. They are absolutely everywhere on everything. This is like a bumper crop year for gnats. I mean, look at this. This is just, it's just so disgusting. I can barely be out in the garden right now. They're on all my plants. I tried, I'm snorting them. I'm breathing them in. I tried to, wait till you see. This is just crazy. Absolutely. Look at this. Look at this. Oh my gosh. They're on everything. So I was trying to get some garlic chives for my breakfast, and they're like, look, I had to find leaves that were not just covered with these gnats. They're covering. Look at them on this rosemary mint. I mean, look at this. It's crazy. The sad thing is they're getting inside the house. I mean, they can squeeze through the screens, the window screens. And so it's just disgusting. So I didn't do a bee removal last night. And, oh yeah, this is Monica, King's Titan Homestead. Sorry. I'm like totally just, my mind is gone today. I didn't do a bee removal last night because my neck went out again, and I was basically so dizzy and in pain, headache. So this right here, I get this swelling right in here, mostly on this side. Sometimes on this side's fine, but I get this really huge swelling right there. And what that's from, not the medical doctors. Medical doctors did not figure this out. About 15, 20 years ago, I was so dizzy, I couldn't even get out of bed. I mean, the vertigo was so bad, and the headache was so bad. And I was going to a medical doctor, and they literally had me dying of some really weird blood disease or something, where, you know, and I'm just, you know, I was just floored. I was crying. I was like, oh my gosh, you know, this was just the worst news, right? They're pumping me full of barium, doing MRIs and CT scans, and then all of a sudden, a friend of mine suggested that I go see a chiropractor, and I did. And the chiropractor was like, hey, did they ever take a side view of your neck? You know, and I'm like, no, they took, you know, front and back, but I don't remember them doing a side view. And he goes, hey, about 35 years ago, you were in a car accident, you had whiplash. And I'm like, no, you're a quack. I'm like, you're wrong. And so he's like, well, that's what I'm treating you for. I'm going to treat you like you got a spur on your neck. He goes, there it is. And sure enough, he showed it to me on x-ray. I'm like, yeah, there it is. But I've never been in a car accident. So I'm calling my mom on my way home, and I go, this guy, I said, yeah, I said, I feel better. I said, but what a quack. I said, he's trying to tell me I have whiplash. And my mom's like, oh, guess what? We were rear-ended when you were about 5 or 6 years old. And we looked back at you, and you were just laughing. And we were like, oh, she's okay. And she goes, so guess what? You probably did have whiplash. And so then I called them back. I said, I apologize. I'm like, you're right. I did. I likely had whiplash. My parents didn't know, you know, I was so young, and I, you know, and come to find, I mean, like, when I get hurt, I laugh. I laugh sometimes hysterically, but I do laugh. The other day, we were doing a bee removal, and I was with my aunt, and I was texting and walking at the same time, which you shouldn't do, by the way. It's a bad move. It's almost, you know, it's a bad thing. So I ran right into a beam, a smack right into a beam with my forehead, which normally doesn't happen because I'm only 5'2", and so, but walked right into that beam, and I just, felt like slow motion. I went backwards and hit the ground. So my aunt was like, what's that noise? What was that noise? And I'm like, I think that was my head. And I just was laughing. And she's like, oh my. I almost thought I had a concussion. And it just was that's what I do, laughing hysterically. So, oh well. Hey everybody, it's Monica. So this evening I am going to be part of a WAS mini conference. Dr. Garett Slater, I believe, is going to be before me in hour one, and he's going to be talking about quality drones. That should be a really interesting and very important topic, because that quality drones is what needed in order to give us quality queens and longevity in our queens. So you should definitely log on to that Zoom to listen to Dr. Slater. And hour two will be yours truly. And I will be doing a short presentation on Africanized bee and removals and my experiences thus far here in southern Arizona. I will be putting that link here below so that you can log on or find that information. And if you're not a member of the Western Apiculture Society, I highly recommend joining. It's a group of individuals that promote education, and so please join us this evening. If nothing but to see me make a fool of myself, because this is going to be my first time. I made a PowerPoint, and this is going to be my first time trying sharing of documents. So this morning, my brother Ted was my guinea pig, and he and I did like a experimental Zoom conference where I was successful. So we'll see how I do this evening. So yes, please join us. The other thing I wanted to point out, last night I didn't really do any bee removals. I went and rechecked some bee removals, and I'm not sure if I shared all of those with you in the past. The ones I rechecked, one of them was hives that, a large monster hive that was getting in through some vegas and into a roof, and we did the removal from the interior drywall. And I just kind of went back to check on that to make sure that the bees that she was seeing were actually robber bees. Some were getting in, so I just kind of went and opened the windows. And then I went on to check an olive tree forced abscond that I was doing. The homeowner, I had done 3 applications, and the homeowner thought they were gone. And so I just kind of stopped back in there, and no, they're not gone. The tree started to buzz, and so I'm like, no, they're in there. So I have to go back and work on that one some more. The third one that I did was shed floor, and they were seeing bee activity. But what the issue is right now we have, we're going into a dearth. And so meaning there's no plants and nothing for the bees to really forage on. I mean, there's some, but not a lot. And one of the big things is there's not a lot of nectar plants. There might be, like we see sunflowers blooming in residential areas and those are more pollen plant. They're not really a great nectar plant. So we have a lot of that kind of issue going on. So the bees are getting really sniffy and crazy and wanting to rob their nectar sources. And because they can't, they don't have a whole lot of nectar coming in, it's very difficult for them to build comb. So they're also stealing any wax that was left behind at any of the removals. So we are seeing a lot of robber bees, and so that is occurring. And then the removal that I went to do was an irrigation box that was left open, and so they were the elements, they were just right there, and so they had some meltdown, but for the most, all the bees left. There were no longer any bees in the colony. However, what they did do was they were going, I think, either bees in the area or the same bees who found a new home were coming back and foraging from that box. So I cleaned it all out so that the homeowners could actually use their irrigation box again, because it's hot and there's no sign of rain. There had been chance of rain, I guess, for this today was like 60% a couple days ago, and it disappeared. So I don't know what they were thinking. They were trying to get our hopes up, I guess. Anyway, usually by Dan and my anniversary, which is coming up, we usually start seeing rain. So, our fingers are crossed. But then the humidity level is going to go skyrocket. So there's a plus and minus there. But anyway, I digest. One of the things that I think would be a really great read for everybody who watches my channel is a handbook for beekeepers, growers, and conservationists that you can actually print out. It's like 172 pages, or you can purchase it for like $28, which is actually really great, a good price. And you know, probably this is a good read. I'm on the second chapter, but I think we should go back and maybe discuss the chapters together, because this is very interesting on how our food is put on our tables, especially those that are pollinated by insects. And so this is managing alternative pollinators, and it discusses the uses of honeybees first. And then it kind of tells us the actual, how this is all like very delicate system, and how we're actually getting these foods on our plates. And so this is, whether you're a beekeeper or not, I think this is something that we all should read. And so hopefully tomorrow, my Zoom channel, or not my Zoom, my YouTube channel here, is going to talk about the first chapter that I went through. And I did make some highlights. I kind of like highlighted, and I just want to make some discussions and maybe like open some information up for everybody, because also other than the WAS channel or WAS Zoom presentation this evening, this Saturday, if you're local, I am going to be at the Pollinator Pathways Project at the Arivaca Dance Hall in Southern Arizona, speaking about pollinators, and mostly our honeybees and everything that the honeybees are going through. So I hope you enjoy, and look forward to it. Again, I'm going to put the WAS link below, and also if I can, I'm going to try to find this, but just Google search managing alternative pest pollinators, and let's start reading this together. So those things will be below here. See you tomorrow.